Teacher punishment! The final bell had just rung, and I dismissed the class, allowing them to join the screaming horde that rampaged through the hallways of the school. I teach English, and my last class was my senior class. They had essays due today, and I picked them up as they were leaving, brushing off any excuses about them not having time. I certainly don't fail a student for not completing an assignment. I just apply a percentage reduction to his grade for each day he's late. Looking at the stack of essays, I thought about the screaming horde and the location of the teacher's lounge. I decided that instead of fighting my way through the hallways, I would just sit down at the desk and start checking assignments right away. Not wanting to be disturbed, I chose a desk in the far corner. Any casual glance through the doorway would have missed me. I had been working for about half an hour when someone invaded the room. I was a little surprised, since half an hour after last bell usually meant that the school was completely empty, at least by the students. The staff still had things to do, like reading essays. The unexpected intrusion was a young lady who burst into the room in a great hurry. Trudy was a high school senior, one of the girls in my last class, and was in a panic. She didn't notice me as she ran over to the desk she had used earlier and opened it. What a change! From frantic to completely relaxed in the time it took her to pick up the phone. Apparently she had hidden it there during class and forgot to get it out. Probably hid it in a hurry when she thought I was watching. I didn't say anything, assuming she was about to leave, and for a moment I thought she would. Then she stopped, turned and looked at the white board and the marker on the ledge of the board. She walked over to the board and I heard her giggle softly. I have to give her high marks for artistry. She drew an excellent drawing of a manhood. She then very carefully wrote a crude message, namely, "Mr. Soms uses goats." She then added a couple of hearts for decoration and stepped back to admire the work of her hands. I stood up quietly and headed towards her between the tables. "Good job," I complimented her. "But how did you know about my proclivities? Talk about immediate shrinking." She did indeed seem to shrink by an order of magnitude as she slowly turned around, blushing heavily. "I've seen other examples of your, work," I told her, "though they weren't directed at me before. Maybe I've just missed the ones you've dedicated to me?" I looked at her with one eyebrow raised, waiting to see if she wanted to comment. She just continued to stand there with a stunned mullet expression on her face. Given the art theme and the pithy little comments, we teachers sort of assumed that one of the younger boys was the culprit. It seemed like exactly what a 13-year-old would do, although some teachers argued that any male under 50 could be held responsible. For some reason, it didn't occur to us that the culprit was a young lady. "So what are you, 12? Soon to be 13? 18, Trudy said, looking offended that I was downplaying her age. "Uh-huh. Who was your model?" She blushed again and bit her lip, obviously not wanting to reveal her model. "You're so broke," I said. "I wonder what Mrs. Ratton will say when she sees this latest masterpiece." At the mention of the principal, Trudy blushed and turned pale so fast I thought she was about to faint. "You can't tell her," she breathed out. "She'll kill me. After that, she'll dump my corpse. You just can't tell her." Oh, yes. The memory beckoned. I'd heard about the magnificent piece of art that had been aimed at Mrs. Ratton. She would have been happy to kill Trudy and then discard her corpse, which might have been a bit much in this situation. After all, the work of her hands was always on whiteboards and easily removed. From the boards, if not from memory. "Well, that's not my problem. I just have to pass judgment on you. Your parents might want to discuss it with you, too." "Oh, my God. You're not going to tell my dad, are you? He'd kill me." "Oh, my God. Looks like a few people are going to kill you. I wouldn't worry too much. Mrs. Ratton will probably only give you detention after school for the rest of your school life. I don't think she'll exactly blab to your parents, but the detention slip will probably make interesting reading." Poor Trudy had a hunted look on her face. "She'll write down the details," she wailed. "She'll probably have photographs which she'll attach to the receipt. I'm dead then." "I'm quite sure no one will actually kill you," I said, though remembering your little poem about Mr. Bunton, I can't guarantee it. Still, I think your father will probably confine himself to a severe beating. Now, why don't we take a walk around the offices and see if Mrs. Rathen is still here? Wait a moment. If you would be so kind, why can't you punish me? You're the one who caught me. Why does it have to go to Mrs. Rathen? For 2 reasons. First, because she wants your head on a platter, though I admit she assumed one of the younger boys was the culprit. I'd be very interested to hear what she has to say when she finds out you're a high school girl. The second reason is that while I can assign detentions and extra work for minor infractions, your work is considered a major infraction and the principal will want to get involved. But can't you just assign me some extended detentions? Not that I'm going to do it again. And what would you want me to put on the detention slip? If you think you can get away with just a couple minor detentions, you're wrong. May I point out that I'm not entirely happy with your last job? Trudy glanced at the Mr. Soms uses goats graffiti and wrinkled her nose. Out of sheer curiosity, where did this sudden burst of graffiti come from? You've never done anything like this in the past. Mr. Bunton punished me after class for something that wasn't my fault. We explained that he had made a mistake, but he wouldn't rescind it. It was completely unfair and he knew it, but he didn't care. That's when I did my first drawing. There were so many people talking about it afterward that I guess I just kept doing it. I could see Banton assigning a detention by mistake and refusing to cancel it because that would mean admitting he made a mistake. First-class asshole, that guy. Well, now you've done your last drawing. Let's go. Don't be in such a hurry, she wailed. Can't you just give me some kind of punishment and not tell anyone? I swear I'll never do it again. What kind of punishment would you suggest? I don't know. My dad would beat me up if he found out what I was doing. You can't do that. By beating, I assume you mean getting your ass spanked? Anyway, I can't imagine your father tying you to a whipping post and taking a 9-tailed whip. Yeah, I'm thinking spanking. What's up? May I point out that I'm a male teacher and you're a student? Schools tend to disapprove of male teachers spanking girls. I don't care, she told me, looking at me belligerently. It's better than coming face to face with Mrs. Ratton and my father. I see. And where exactly would you like it to take place? Here, in a classroom, where someone might walk by. I could come to you, she suggested. Over my dead body, being caught at home with a student while physically punishing her? Not in this lifetime. For a moment, a defeated expression appeared on Trudy's face. Then she brightened. The pantry, she said, pointing to a door in the far corner of the room. That would be private, and the teachers have keys to it. She was right. All the pantries were locked with the same lock, and the teachers had access to them. I actually used to go into the pantry to get some supplies. If I remember correctly, there was a broken desk in there, too, which would have been just the right height for a young lady to lean over. I headed toward the pantry. Trudy followed me. I was right. There was a desk in there, minus the seat. Okay, I said, closing the door behind us. What? The young lady was blushing hard now. You can't seriously expect me to do everything. No, it's fine. You just caught me off guard, that's all. Without blushing a bit, she obeyed and leaned over the table. Well, damn it. Now I'm going to have to get to work. I was sure she would refuse. As an experienced teacher, I deliberately paid no attention to the girls attending the school. They were just one homogeneous group, labeled as female students, as opposed to the boys who were male students. Suddenly, a young lady was leaning over the table in front of me, displaying everything she had. Holy shit. In another situation, I would have hit on her. Now, I had to hit her. Life gives you some nasty surprises every now and then. I swung my hand, curving my palm slightly to increase contact and reduce the noise I was making. There was a very satisfying spanking sound as my hand touched her buttocks. If Trudy had expected symbolic punishment, she now knew otherwise. She gasped in shock, turning around and throwing me a reproachful look. She saw my hand come down again and hastily averted her gaze. I heard her give a muffled shriek, apparently through her tightly clenched mouth. "I think one good spanking for each graffiti," I told her as the third spanking came. "What? But that's—" "Oh, how many spanks would that be?" she asked. I've lost count of how many pictures I've drawn. I'm just willing to bet that's what it was. She probably remembered every single one of them." "It's okay," I told her. "I kept score. A total of 48 drawings were on display." "There weren't," came the hurried exclamation. "Nothing like that number. I had only drawn about 15. The problem is that other people copied your style and did additional drawings. How do we know which ones are yours?" But I can't be blamed for other people's graffiti." "Actually, you can," I pointed out. "If you didn't do it, no one would copy it." As we chatted, I continued spanking, making sure to spank only her ass, carefully ignoring other attractive suggestions. Taking her word for it that she had only scribbled 15 works of art, I limited the punishment to 15 spanks, giving her one more at the end, just for luck. Spanking her one last time, I left my hand lying on her ass, which was now red and sore, but still very attractive. "I'll take your word for it that you only drew 15, I told her. My hand gently stroked her ass. "No more drawings had better show up or I'll have to talk to Mrs. Ratton. Just as a warning, we knew there were several people drawing the graffiti. There are 3 styles represented in the artwork. Sooner or later we'll catch the others, and if you start again, I'll know." "I won't do it again, honestly," Trudy assured me. "Can I go now?" "Not quite yet," I told her. "Mr. Soms," she breathed out in a shocked voice. Is there a problem?" I asked, enjoying the feel and heat of her body. You're touching me," she mumbled. "You're right," I agreed, "and you feel really good. In a few moments, I'll be doing a lot more than just touching." "But you can't do that?" "Correct English says I shouldn't do it. It should be obvious to you that I can." "So what are you going to do?" "I'm going to make love to you." "But if I say no, you'll stop, right?" "Yes," I agreed. At least I hoped she would. And if she was going to say no, she'd better say it damn soon. She realized it was happening when my me pressed up against her. "Now your second punishment begins," I said quietly. "I'll try to make it last longer." When we were done, I put on my stern teacher look. I pointed out that if I found any more graffiti with her style, I would be very disappointed, and she would be disappointed with the result as well. She nodded with a serious look and assured me that she wouldn't do it again. Then she departed, waltzing out of the room, deliberately swaying her ass back and forth as she went. She turned and gave me a mischievous smile as she walked away, looked at the white board, and giggled before disappearing. I looked at the white board, shook my head, erased the slogan drawing, and went back to checking my essay. The end!